as we set to preview this matchup, I don't feel nervous, but I do feel a bit anxious because the Eagles, on paper, this should be a team that we should handle. And yes, they do have a better than expected defense, but just the Nick Sirianni factor. It's kind of unpredictability. He's the wild card. You never know what kind of coaching he's going to give or take away from our players, and he might actually hurt us, in the drive for points. We've been struggling in the first half, period. Better second half team, but this has been going on for too long. And this should be a get-right game for us, but like I said, anything could happen. And the Giants are still a professional team lined up against us. So let's see what happens, but I do trust us to eke out a win. I'm just not sure that we'll win by a comfortable margin in the eyes of Eagles fans. Anyways, what's up? It's your boy Cintron. Come back at you with another analysis video. And kid you not, that's my real name. We'll preview the matchup here. Eagles, Giants, 5 things to watch, as well as some questions from the enemy side, their point of view. Let's get into it here because we definitely have to pay attention to this guy here, Brian Burns, with one of our guys being out on the line. All right, first up here, Eagles running back Saquon Barkley versus his former team. And he said that he's going to treat it like any other game. He's not going to be really up for this one, but, in the back of his mind, the recesses, he's going to be hyped. He's going to want to prove to his former team that he would have been worth, the upper echelon contract they should have given him. And, his teammates backing him. A.J. Brown in the offseason when Hard Knocks was coming out, he was, standing up for his guy, pounding the table, saying that Saquon, we're going to win it for him. And I love that camaraderie. I love that, even though he was a instant addition, he was turned into an instant classic among his teammates. So you look at the statistics, the Giants' run defense is pretty poor. I think they have the second worst yards per carry allowed. And you look at what we've historically done against them in the past several years. Average 5.6. Pretty good with the yardage. It's been pretty high. So even last year, that was a pretty decent outing. And the bottom has been 130, 4.3, or I would say 4 yards a carry, and that's at the base minimum. So we should be able to do some work. And I think that was when we weren't even really serious with the game plan. So really can take that out of the equation. 4.3 definitely ain't bad. And that was with, us committing to the run, of course, but, Hurts was at the beginning of his ascent. But yeah, man, Saquon is coming into this match, I think, with 5.3. And outside of that game where they committed to stopping him, he's been money. And this game, second game with, the major stars, minus Dallas Goedert, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith back, we should be able to have some more syncopation, and we'll see how that carries out. Now, the line will be different with Fred Johnson in there. We'll get to that in a second. But 4 solid starters. And, you'll see how big Becton does in pass pro, but in the run game, man, he's money. He's a monster. So, anyways, let's get to that. Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence on the interior versus our guys on the interior and the exterior. So don't have to worry about Lane Johnson. So, you can look at his stats here. 3 penalties for sure. I think some of them, might have been getting upfield where he shouldn't have been. And that's been an issue for Leonard Nickerson, who's playing the worst of our stars right now. I think he's given up a couple sacks and 18 pressures, something like that. But it is what it is, he's been dealing with I think some injury issues, and that's kind of affected his performance. But these guys here, stellar. Now the other Johnson will be out there, no baby oil, no Diddy. But hopefully they give him some help. They didn't really in the 2 matchups that he's been in so far. So against the Saints and against the Buccaneers was where he struggled. 2 sacks given up. But sandwiched in between those games, that's a small sample size. Came in for 5 plays for Mailata, but he you can say he held his own. He did better than expected going up against definitely, I would say, that beast, Myles Garrett, for sure. And then, 5 pressures, that's kind of a lot. 2 is a lot, but no sacks given up. So if they can just help him, like I said, chip and put a tight end on that side, not let him be solo dolo too often. Mix it up. Some draws, screens, plays that get throw the defense off balance, and then run at them as well. So just slow down that pass rush. There's lots of things that you can do to mitigate, but Dexter Lawrence is going to be a problem either way. Cam Jurgens, as well as he's played, yeah, man, he's a bigger guy. Kelsey had the technique, but he's going up against Greenhorn, and we'll see how he fares. But some combination blocks, him and Becton still might not be enough because he has 7 sacks on the year from the interior, which is huge, tremendous. He might be leading the league right now, especially with Aiden Hutchinson out. I think he was leading the league. It was 7.5, but with interior pressure, he's got to be number 2, the best D tackle right now behind Chris Jones. And I get it, we've handled him in years past, but it's a different beast dealing with someone who doesn't have the experience, in Cam Jurgens. So we'll see how that plays out, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. All right, number 3, the Eagles secondary versus the Giants improved wide receiver trio. So I think Malik Neighbors has allowed the other guys to shine a little bit, and Jalen Hyatt, he's doing some things, but Wanda Robinson, he's been their short guy, give him a lot of catches, and then he's been able to move the sticks and just get yardage. First down and such, it's only 7.6 yards per reception, but whatever moves the chains. And Darius Slayton, the explosive guy, 24 catches for 301 yards. He's kind of gotten his mojo back a little bit, but I think some of the pressure has been alleviated off of him by having that running mate in Malik Neighbors. He's an explosive guy. He has 300 yards himself. Missed one contest with a concussion, but doing pretty well. And he's a chess piece. They like to move him around the board. It'll be interesting to see. It's definitely when him and Quinion match up, but hopefully it's not those cover 3 looks. They've been killing us. Teams have been hitting us over the top with those, but when we go into those formations. But I'm excited though for us to see this challenge through. Cooper DeJean out there, he's gonna get some work. Definitely don't want to see him too many times on one-on-one with Neighbors, but he's gonna be everywhere. So I do like us, at the very least as a push, but I think we should be able to handle the receiving core. So we'll see where Vic adds the extra coverage. He likes to be +1 in the run game and the pass game. So who will be lined up in these formations and how they play. I think CJ will be a key. We'll see how he handles those things, especially near the red zone. All right, number 4, where might the Eagles go? Feast on the line. This guy, he's out. His replacement is going to be a big issue. So do they move Jermaine Elamino over here and unsettle the position over here? Because the right tackle, Evan Neal, he hasn't panned out. The 7th overall pick a couple of years ago, and just hasn't played up to par. He's been a cause for concern when he's been in there. And the other guys, he's a second-year guy. He's played solid, and he's a replacement level guy, but have provided a little bit of stability. But that being said, their best offensive lineman and Andrew Thomas is out, and the backup for the left tackle spot, what's his name? Joshua Edzedu. They don't want to put him in there because he's going to get worked. 5 sacks in limited work last year, 181 pass block snaps. Feast on him. I don't know what to expect. I agree with this 5 turkey legs because we could eat, we could starve, or somewhere in the middle. So, going in, Jalen Carter has that shoulder injury that kept him out of one practice, but he was on a report. Some idiot said, "Oh, he's not gonna play." It's way too early to count the chickens before they're hatched, man. We'll see how he plays and if he's being affected by that, but yeah, something to monitor. Definitely how that. I don't worry too much about the interior because I think those guys could pick up the slack some in the absence of Jalen Carter if he has to, be on a pitch count. But it's more the exterior I'm watching. Do they get pressure? Special teams, number 5. Yeah, man, 3 consecutive games, punt blocked by the Saints. Then Isaiah Rodgers pushing the guy, into Cooper DeJean. Then Keely Ringo sticking him to, kind of finish off the day. And then a field goal block last week by Myles Garrett. I mean, we got to get our shit together. Michael Clay had us as the number 1 overall unit last year, and then just his reset kind of this year. Back on the warning list for, job desecrations. Job Warner's, you might be get up out of here, boy. You might be getting up out of here. Anyways, I mean, I love that. This year hasn't been easy. It's been a challenge, but that makes us have something to look forward to, correcting. So if these guys can get it together, if they can just play, I mean, it feels like, no, not feels like it, all across the board, we need to have better chemistry. We need to play together as a unit. And, these kind of things, we can't let them happen. We got to keep these guys from making, these kind of impact plays. I mean, the game was 10-3, and then it was even. They didn't score an offensive touchdown in this game, but, it made it look a lot closer. We were on our way to trying to score some points, so that was effectively a 14-point swing. I mean, 7+ for them and 7- for us. So, man. All right. Anyways, let's get into questions with the enemy, man. 5 questions and answers with the Giants. So, number 1, might as well get the obligatory Saquon Barkley question out the way. Do you still think the Giants made the right call not to re-sign him? And are you more annoyed or more indifferent when it comes to how he's played it well for the Eagles? I mean, I definitely would say the fans hate it. The GM and the owner, are like crawling in their skin because they let this guy go and he's proving you wrong, quite literally. And when it comes to resigning them, I think they're not the outfit that's going to be highly competitive for at least a couple years, and that's pending on them hitting on draft picks and such. So financially speaking, it was the right call because he's not the final piece. He just would have been a expensive piece. So, all right, number 2, what's the confidence level in Daniel Jones right now? With the fans, definitely, they call him, downgrade Jones, whatever. But I think they're ready for him to get up out of there. But he's actually been better this season, and he's gotten better line play, so that's helped. But is he the guy? I mean, it still cost him, a 4-year, $160 million contract, $40 million. I don't think he's worth $40 million, to be honest with you. But we haven't seen him have a lot of stability in his career as well. So there's that. If he had the same weapons that Jalen does, I think he'd fare a little bit worse, but we'd see maybe a little bit more of his shine. So I think Dayball still maybe wants his guy, a guy that he drafts, because Daniel Jones ain't it. All right, number 3, how would you evaluate the job that Brian Daboll has done thus far? I think he's been handcuffed, by having this guy here in New York. And, you can only do so much, especially when you have a guy at the helm who's not the future. So, give him a couple more years. They might make some moves, make some waves. Depends on how they draft and develop. But if they were able to put together a competent offense, man, they'd be dangerous. They'd definitely be dangerous. Number 4, what are the notable differences between last year's defense ran by Wink Martindale and this year's overseen by new DC Shane Bowen? They've just been more. I mean, I'd say more consistent. But then again, if you gave him 2 pass rushing options that they had last year, he just liked to blitz a bit too much. I'd say the balance was kind of out of whack. But that was just his way of doing things, and can't be mad at it. I wanted him for actually DC in Philly because I think we would have done some wonderful things. That being said, he has them highly competitive. They play for him, and they don't look too out of place. They have some lack, during the secondary. That being said, I think they maybe have surpassed expectations, but being shackled by a offensive unit that lackluster, can't get the job done, is going to push him down some. But I like definitely that front four, the pass rush from the Giants. They're cooking with gas, man. All right, we'll talk about some other things. Sidney Brown is back. I think they'll get temporarily elevate Jack Driscoll and Sidney Brown. I think he'll play. Let's see. Are there any other moves? Okay, they didn't activate Albert O or Anaya Smith, so maybe I think we're fine with the tight ends that we have. I don't know if we added another guy to the regular roster, but we didn't elevate EJ Jenkins or the former Jets tight end who we cut and then we brought back. So it'll be interesting to see. I think we only have 2 tight ends in this matchup, so we can go receiver heavy, probably, if we drop another tight end. So we'll see. But anyways, we'll get up out of here on that note. But it's all good because I know that you're not even watching now. But hey, I love making these videos and I love talking about the freaking stinking Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll jump deuces officially, but as always, it's fly Eagles fly and let's motherfucking go.
Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like.
Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.